Okay, folks, welcome to Best Stock Charts for the coming week. It is February the 17th already. All right, so we had a very busy week last week in terms of economic data. We're going to get right into some comments I made during our 2018 stock market forecast. I predicted that we would see a rise in inflation, that it would become a topic of discussion, no doubt, this year. And I was concerned at that point in time, this goes back to December, I was concerned about the economy. I mentioned that there were red flags on the track and that we may see a slowdown in the economy in 2018. So before we get into the charts that we're looking to trade for the coming week, let's first do a pulse check of the stock market as a whole. And members, I will be going into a deep dive on the week ahead commentary, the members version tomorrow. That'll be coming out, posted on the blog for members. If you're not currently a member, sign up and you will get our strategy. So before we go into the data that was released last week, here's what I had to say back during the stock market forecast for 2018, which I will link to at the end of this video. The producer price index. Folks, last year I talked about inflation being the name of the game in 2017. We heard very little about it, yet inflation rose. This is the chart of the PPI, the producer price index, and it is breaking out. It is moving higher. We broke out of this declining downtrend line in mid to late 2016. In 2017, we really began to move higher. Now, the PPI, the producer price index, is the measure of inflation at the producer level. It doesn't necessarily mean that the consumer is picking up the tab for rising input costs, but it's only a matter of time before that occurs. Now, when you take a look at the CPI, you could see that in the first half of 2017, this is a monthly chart, we consolidated. So that breakout on the PPI in 2016 was not reflected in the CPI in the first half of 2017. Now, though, we are breaking out. We are moving higher on the CPIs. So now we're beginning to see in the back half of 2017 and into 2018, the producers begin to pass through those rising expenses to the consumer as reflected on this chart. This is not good for the consumer. Now, when you want to measure and you want to validate that there is inflation at the doorstep, you want to take a look at commodities. And commodities broke out. This is a weekly chart. They broke out in the last week of 2017, a clean breakout above this resistance level here. This is the GSG. Pull it up, because it's clearly indicating on price and on RSI that it wants to move higher, on volume no less. How else are we measuring inflation? Look no further than the TIPS, the Treasury Inflation Protected Securities. We have, this is a monthly chart, we have a breakout on RSI, a breakout on Stokes, no breakout yet on the monthly chart on price. But last month, for the month of December 2017, we flashed a bullish key reversal. And when you drill down to a weekly chart, last week we saw a breakout above this secondary resistance level at about, let's call it 114. Where do we close? 114.08. We did not close at the highs of the year, but we are very, very close. If we rally up and through 114.33 on a weekly basis and close there, that's a clear indicator to me that we have institutional investors buying TIPS to protect their portfolios from inflation. Now, what do the TIPS correlate to? What we just spoke about, the CPI. So keep an eye. Again, folks, I'm going to talk about this over and over again. Inflation is heating up. The government won't admit it because that means they need to pay out COLAs, cost of living increases on Social Security. That's the last thing they want to talk about. Why? It's because the government is broke. To pay those COLAs, they'll have to print more money. What'll happen if they print more money? More inflation. Lastly, to validate the fact that we are seeing rising inflation, I'm going to use the chart of the Pring Inflation Index. This is a measure of inflation and deflation. And you could see that last month, the month of December 2017, we broke out of a flag formation on the Pringles Inflation Index. We're putting in higher lows on stochastics, higher lows on RSI. We are breaking out. This is significant. So to recap our macro view of the economy as we proceed into 2018, we are seeing signs of inflation. We are seeing indications, as noted by the declining yield curve, that we have some red flags for the economy in 2018. Okay, so it was clear at that point in time I was concerned about the rise of inflation. We had already seen it. It was rearing its ugly head on the charts, yet the government was either asleep at the switch or they were just ignoring it. Because last week we had the Consumer Price Index, which was released. The previous result was 0.2% of an increase. The expectation was 0.4%. We got 0.5%. And when you jump to the Producer Price Index, the prior period was 0. We jumped up 0.4%. And when you overlay the rise of inflation versus the economic data, not a pretty picture. Retail sales. The previous report, we were flat. The expectation was for a rise in retail sales, and we saw a decline in retail sales. The Empire State Manufacturing Index missed by a wide margin. Industrial production hammered, absolutely hammered. So you have the cost of goods going up and industrial production going down. Not a pretty picture. So members, more to come in terms of strategy tomorrow. Now let's get to the charts that we are looking to trade in the coming week. And before we even get to those charts, how did we do last week? We had a great week. We didn't close out any positions, but we were building, and we saw a rebound in our commodity plays because the dollar took a nosedive. So now we're going to segue into best stock charts for the coming week. I'm going to go over these symbols in the sequence as they're listed on the blog. And if you're watching this on YouTube, click the video description link below, and you'll see the symbols listed in the sequence in which I will review them. So that way you can work a little bit more efficiently. All right, so weekly chart, buckle. I spoke about this one a couple of days ago. I was bullish on it. It broke out on a weekly basis. We closed off the highs of the week. Members, this is one that I'm really liking. We have great support below. Loving the breakout here. So we'll discuss an entry strategy as we proceed into the coming week. And that will be, of course, tomorrow on the weekend commentary. U.S. Steel. We booked profits on U.S. Steel back here. It pulled back, rallied last week, and it broke out on a weekly basis. So this is another one where we are looking to build a long position. Why? Well, we're going to have the infrastructure package that's going to get pushed through Congress, more debt, but it's going to be great for U.S. Steel. Add to that the Trump administration is going to slap tariffs on the Chinese companies that are dumping cheap steel in the U.S. markets. Who's going to benefit? U.S. Steel. Members, more to come here. Next chart up, GOGO. We broke out an RSI last week. Does that mean you go buy it? No, not yet. But it is very bullish. We're putting in higher lows on the stochastics. Good stuff. A very strong bullish key reversal week last week. No breakout yet. So we're not ready to step in here, but we will war game out how we want to enter this position on the week ahead commentary. Volume last week was strong. Higher lows on Ultimate Oscillator. Looking good. GOGO. DPST, the Direxion Daily Regional Bull ETF. Why do I not want to buy the money center banks? It's because they are too linked to trading. I want a pure play on lending, and DPST is right up our alley. So we're looking for a breakout here on a weekly basis, and we're very close to it. We saw a beautiful reversal week last week. Members will be talking about the performance of yields last week and how they may impact the DPST moving forward, because the play here is NIM, net interest margin. That's the spread between what the banks borrow at versus what they can lend at. So members, more to come tomorrow. Next chart up, Dynavax Technologies. A really nice bull flag formation setting up here. Last week we flashed a bullish key reversal. Several weeks of bottoming action. We have broken out on RSI. So this is one where we're interested in. Volume could have been better last week, but we're consolidating. I'm not going to worry too much about volume yet. I will worry about volume as we begin to break out. I'm going to expect to see up volume bars rise on any breakouts. So this is a stock that we're interested in doing a little bit more due diligence on. We'll talk more about it tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. Lululemon, monthly chart, not a weekly chart, but a monthly chart. We are breaking out on a monthly basis. The caveat here, the month isn't over yet, right? So we want to show discipline before we go entering the position. This is a beautiful consolidation. We have broken out on RSI. We have pulled back on RSI, retested, put in a higher low, and we are now moving higher. Volume could be a bit better, but the month isn't over yet, right? We have several trading days left to go, but I like this chart. I think Lululemon is poised for a move higher. It's all about how we close the month out and how we plan on structuring our trade, meaning what is our strategy for position sizing, and when we plan on entering the trade, what hurdles must be overcome for us to open up a position on Lululemon. And we'll discuss that on our strategy session. MBIA, weekly chart. We broke out last week. My guess is, I haven't taken a look at the daily chart yet, is that we're probably extended on a daily basis. We're going to need to see a pullback here. We have broken out on RSI. We have broken out or begun to break out on Stokes. The chart's looking good here. We have closed above 2 significant moving averages. Volume, very strong. My guess is that we get a pullback and a retest. I don't see a rush here to go opening a position. And keep in mind that you do have overhead supply, meaning buyers back here that want their money back. So it's not going to be a straight shot higher. So patience and deliberate action is mandatory for making money on this stock. Under Armour. We spoke about these shares midweek. Love the setup here. Double bottom setup on RSI and breaking out. Higher low on Stokes. We broke out last week on price. We have higher lows on price and now a higher high. So the downtrend is now over. We have, again, successfully put in a higher low and now closed above the prior high. So Under Armour is looking good as a longer-term position. GoPro. This is a sleeper. It sold off hard back in January, and ever since then, it's been consolidating along support. We've had 3 consecutive weeks of bottoming action. They tried to rally it last week. They closed it off the highs of the week, so we now have a doji star formation, which is a sign of indecision. So I'm guessing that in all probability, we are going to press higher here. Now, it's a great risk-reward entry point because you have a clear and defined stop point. And we'll talk about that tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. We have broken out on Ultimate Oscillator, very close to a breakout on Stochastics. Nothing happening on RSI yet. We're a bit oversold, but not too bad. So members, more to come tomorrow on GoPro. Five Below Inc. monthly chart. A bullish key reversal so far this month after we flashed a bearish key reversal in January. The setup here is looking very interesting. Our stochastics are putting in higher lows. Volume is on par to come in at least at average. Higher lows and higher highs on Ultimate Oscillator. Exactly what you want to see. So this is a chart that we're interested in getting long of next week. Holly Systems. This is a really nice setup. This is a monthly chart. We broke out above resistance here in October. Ever since then, we've been consolidating sideways. So far this month, we have a bullish key reversal. I think that we're very close to breaking out on Holly. So this is another one where we're going to want to do a deep dive on the charts to see whether or not we want to open up a position now or wait for a breakout. Now, what is concerning to me is that volume has been dropping off. It dropped off last month dramatically. So far this month, we're on par to meet last month's up volume bar. So I'm not going to put all that much emphasis on volume right now because we are consolidating. But I will place a lot of emphasis on volume on a breakout or a breakdown. So members, more to come on Holly. Kratos Defense and Security Solutions monthly chart. A really nice cup handle formation. We broke out. We're pulling back. Nice bull flag setup. And we are flashing a bullish key reversal on the month thus far. Again, the month isn't over yet, but so far we are looking good. This is another one where we're going to want to do a deep dive tomorrow on the week ahead commentary. Sticking with the monthly chart for a moment, we have RSI rising. Stokes are rising. All good stuff. Volume outstanding. Exactly what you want to see. Volume that is above average. This is institutional accumulation. We've had it for 3 months now. Members, more to come here. Ryanair Holdings monthly chart. Very similar to Holly Systems, which I just went over. We have a very tight consolidation after we had broken out back in May. This is a very long consolidation. As the saying goes, the longer the consolidation, the stronger the validation of any breakout. So we have Stokes, which are rising. I'm a bit concerned about RSI because it is putting in lower highs, but you know what? Many times your RSI, your Stokes, can get skewed because of long-term consolidation. So I'm going to dismiss what I'm seeing here on the indicators and focus more on what is important to me, most important, and that is price and volume. Volume so far this month is looking good. Price looking outstanding. The only problem here is that we haven't broken out above resistance. Now, we have taken out last month's highs, so it's looking quite positive. I don't like MACD. It's losing momentum, but certainly not something to trade off of. So members, more to come here. And that's it, folks. If you're not currently a member, please sign up for the 14-day free trial offer. It is going away soon. So take advantage of it, please. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Leave a comment below. If you watch this on Stock, Twitch, or Twitter, give me a follow there. And if you watch this on the blog and you want these videos in the future, enter your email address. We hate spam too. You will not be spammed. Everybody have a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Members, more tomorrow. Be well.